Alright, I'm back. So in the last video what you saw was the war between me, Tarth, and the Capitar, who viciously attacked me without warning. I was able to win that battle in 2 years. The reason was that the AI had just inferior units and didn't really give themselves a chance to regroup after each attack. They just sent wave after wave of units with the idea that eventually they would damage the units I had enough that they would start winning and turn the tide of the battles. Unfortunately, that never happened because I was able to always kill their archers first because I focused on initiative with my archers, and they didn't give any traits to their archers. They also didn't give any of their archers leather armor, which is ideal for late game archers, and they were using longbows while I was using masterwork longbows. No, actually, come to think of it, they were using yew longbows, and I was using masterwork, so they had an advantage there, except that I always got the first attack, so I don't think any of their archers ever even attacked me, except maybe once, which you saw in the last video. But anyways, so after I won those battles, and I defeated Capitar one more time, he was sent back to his city, and a turn later, I got a message saying that rather than giving me all of his cities in a prolonged war, he decided that it would be better to raise all of his cities and leave the world for good, without any trace of Capitar having ever existed. Which I'm fine with. I think that was probably a smart move. I like that that's a choice for the AI. I don't think it should happen during every war. I think that there should be certain sovereigns that just give you the cities, especially if they're kingdom cities. They should want to say, okay, well, I lost the war, and out of honor I'm giving you these cities because I don't want to see more pointless bloodshed I know I've lost. But Tarth and Capitar have a lot of bad blood, and I would have just enslaved them anyways, because they enslaved us for hundreds of years. So it was a good idea, in this case, for them to kill themselves or just generally disband their cities. But what it created on a gameplay scale was a late-game colony rush, which you don't really see in any other games that I play. It was interesting because in like Galactic Civilizations, you have a colony rush in the very beginning, and in this game you pretty much do too. You have to pump out a ton of pioneers and send them everywhere, which the AI is also doing, and generally the AI is extremely efficient at it, because monsters don't seem to attack them as much. Or at least they're better at skirting around them than I am. I don't know which one of those it is. It's probably the first one. But anyways, this time, since I knew I could get the jump on the AI, I had all my cities stop what they were doing and just build pioneers for a few years. And the result was that I was able to capture about 75% of the Capitar lands, which you can see here. And the Gilden, who were on the other side, only captured about 25%, which ended up being about 4 cities. So I've taken all this land and made sure that there's no gaps for them to build any new settlements, and they've taken sort of the outskirting Capitar lands, not the Capitar heartlands, and they didn't get a lot of resources from it. But it will create an interesting situation later on, which is what we're doing right now. Is we've sort of developed a cold war between us, because we're the last two factions available, and they have an extremely higher faction power, but on some level they have to be aware that I was able to wipe out all those units, and I have some really powerful level 10 heroes guiding my armies with absolutely no injuries. So as you can see here, they've got armies just sort of sitting by one of my cities, which I've got stacked with some of my highest level units. I'm just pretty much waiting for them to declare war, because I don't want to have to wipe out Paradin. Right now we're really close, and I think if I start the war, they're going to get really pissed about it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is this wasn't Capitar territory. This was Wildland area. It was Kurgan's tomb, and unfortunately there's a bug where there's supposed to be a whole bunch of goody huts around, which there was, and they're supposed to be protected by really powerful elementals, which there wasn't. None of the elementals seemed to have spawned, and so the whole area was just free goody huts and a ton of different mana shards and such just sort of lying around. So when I was doing my Pioneer Rush, I was able to go through with my heroes, which were supposed to be my invading force, but turned into my sort of scouting force to figure out where to put the best settlements. And they found probably about 30,000 Gildar worth of equipment just sort of lying around for free. It was a huge boon to my nation. And then now that I've taken all of the goody huts, it counted me as conquering the wildlands, which was great because then I could build a settlement in the middle of it, allowing me to get the monument on Kurgan's tomb, or this wind thingy here, which is essentially 3 air shards. Since I didn't have any air shards beforehand, this is a huge bonus to my civilization. Plus, I get an additional one of the other shards. So here's a life, fire, water, earth. And actually, I really like the way this looks. Oh, and don't forget, the dragon cave here, which means that I'll be able to train storm dragons as soon as I research the technology. I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I'll probably, when I post my next video, I'll let everyone know how that turned out if they haven't done it yet. Looks really interesting. So anyways, it's a Cold War brewing. I need to increase my faction power, but right now, me and Gilden are still on... we were on warm turns last turn, now we're on neutral terms, which means war is probably going to be happening pretty quickly. But the same problem is going to happen. They're only going to have spears and leather, and I'm going to have heavy armored units, so they don't stand a chance at all. One of the things that I think Stardock should do is just have all the players that feel like it email them or post on the forum their unit designs at the end of every game, so that they can use those unit designs to just sort of stock fill the AI for the next beta patch. Because I'm sure we'll get one next week because there's a lot of immediate problems, or probably the week after that. But anyways, we need better units than just these leather ones. I don't know if they even made any other ones, but it's pretty pathetic to see, I think, what was that, 40 armies die just because they weren't smart enough to research better technologies. But who knows, maybe they've got some units hiding in the background, but I don't think so, because I've been checking their new units that they're building, and none of them have any armor or anything of note. It's pretty sad. But that's all I really planned on saying, just sort of giving you an update about the video series. The next video I post is going to be when war is actually declared and some of the more interesting sieges are happening. I'm excited to see how it goes, because this faction has about 4 times the power of the previous faction. So I don't really know at what pace they're going to attack, because they probably have a different strategy than Capitar. But one thing's for sure, is that their units will not be as good as mine, and the AI is still unable to properly use archery. So I'll let you guys look forward to that other video.